It is the Holy Trinity. It is DC Soap Sanctuary, Albert Bostic, and Rock TV. We're here to discuss soaps live with you guys. What's going on?
What's up, everybody?
How's everyone doing tonight?
On a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Kind of a bold move, but you know.
I mean, Saturday is always a good night to do something, I think.
It is. Because Fridays, somebody's gonna be occupied for sure. But Saturdays, kind of like a good in between. We're gonna get some people coming in.
Sunday, that's my chill spot. Sunday, that's my do nothing. This weekend did not go how I thought this weekend was gonna go. Like, I told myself, and I told friends, I said, this what I'm doing this weekend. I'm gonna run an errand Saturday morning, this morning. I'm gonna come back home. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna play a game. None of that happened today. It was just I came home from work at 3 a.m, tired, dead tired. Took a nap, woke back up at 5, went back to sleep, woke up at 9. I've been up 8 since then. Helping my friend do some stuff that I didn't think I was gonna be doing today. I was like, I need a vacation. Work has been kicking my behind all week. This weekend is more work. I said, you know what? That's why I got my cigar, because I'm relaxing now. I think, how y'all weekend going so far?
I think, go ahead, Albert.
No, I was pointing to you first.
I mean, I know today was going to be a busy day. I just tried to get some reviews out, try to watch a soap, so I know we're going to be talking about it today. What is that? Went to yoga. Went to art exhibition today, and that was nice. And that's pretty legit. I made sure I got those done in the morning. Those had to get done in the morning.
You do yoga?
What was that?
You do yoga?
Yeah, I go to yoga once in a while. Yeah, I went to yoga.
Wow. How was that?
Oh my God, it was intense.
Really?
You know, the yoga instructor going like, okay, guys, today we're going to balance our chakras like this. And
Is that really relaxing? Like, do it really relax you?
It is. I was sweating a lot because I think I was probably the most out of shape person. A little person was sweating. I was sweating it up. What about you, Albert? How was your weekend?
It was good. I couldn't complain. I really couldn't complain. I've been up since, well, I took a nap, but I was up since 3:30 in the morning. I started work at 6. And so the minute I got back home at 12, I was like, you know what? Let me just rest, make sure I'm good, make sure I'm fresh. So yeah, I've been good. How's everyone doing in the chat? You got Crystal Williams, Double C, Makai, Mel, Susan.
Brock
How's everyone doing tonight?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, what you gonna say?
I said, Brock, right now, he's giving me the introduction of Anthony Zakar. Remember Anthony Zakar came with the cigar? He's like,
Listen, you got yoga to relax you. I got a good cherry cigar to relax me. Gotta have the cherry. I ran out of my groovy blue, so I had to settle for cherry tonight. I was scouring my cigar box looking for my groovy blue. I said, I know I got a groovy blue in here. I said, I know I bought one. But then I thought about it. I said, damn, I did smoking when I bought it. I said, damn. So now I got vanilla, I got cherry. I said, yeah, it's not a vanilla kind of night though.
Right.
So I said, we're gonna do cherry tonight.
Right.
I gotta bring out my girl cherry. Yeah, I gotta smoke a cigar. Y'all don't smoke cigars?
No, well, not me, no.
Albert said no. Albert said no. He said my lungs can't take it, huh?
I've drank before and like to the point of passing out, but that's pretty much about it though. That's as crazy as I've gotten.
Oh, I ain't drinking with you. You said passing out. Oh, what the hell you be drinking?
I'm not good at bartending liquor because I don't drink it like, to the point where you get used to it and you're fine. So like after like 2 or 3 drinks, I'm like, I'm good,
Damn,
I'm buzzed at that point.
I was gonna suggest something strong for you too, like some monkey shoulder.
That sounds scary.
It can be. That's that adult drink. That's what is it, a whiskey? It's called monkey shoulder. It'll knock you on your ass.
Jesus Christ.
You take one sip of monkey shoulder, you got hair on your chest for days.
Damn, I thought Jack Daniels was bad, but that sounds even worse.
Oh, monkey shoulder is that's lethal. You got a
Uh,
monkey shoulder. Monkey shoulder, you got to be 60 to drink that.
or somebody that has good tolerance.
Yeah, because you got to be grown to drink that. You got.
Yeah, I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think I'm there yet.
I ain't think I was there either till I took a sip and I said, "Now I'm there now."
What about you? What about you, DC?
Oh, like what do I drink?
Yeah.
I actually don't drink at all.
Oh, DC clean.
But funny enough, though, I went to a winery last year. I think I went to a winery last year with my mom. We were going to sample some wine, but it was my idea. I just watched her sample it. I was like going vicariously through her. Sample the wines.
I don't drink as often. Like I may drink like maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the year. That's pretty much about it, though.
You know what? I gotta say this before because I know somebody in the chat gonna say it too. They gonna bring it up because I had somebody bring it up like 2 hours ago, and I said, you know what? I ain't even gonna reply to that. I said I'm gonna mention it tonight. Listen, y'all come in this chat. Don't chew my head off. I got you. I know I didn't post my General Hospital review last night. I said, listen, I ain't getting the house till 3 a.m. I was gonna do it this morning. That was the plan, to record it this morning and upload it. I didn't do it this morning because again, I had to get up and get out. I was out all day, so I might try to squeeze it in after I'm done with this, or you know, we gonna squeeze. It's gonna be up there.
Yeah, it's been a little crazy with you, bro. Because sometimes like I'll sit there and be like, "Oh, where's the video at?" And then I'll wake up around like 3 something in the morning. It's like, "Oh, okay, all right."
Yeah, because that's if I don't get a chance, because I go to work at I work a very late shift, so if I don't get it done before I go to work, it's gonna have to wait till the middle of the night.
Yeah, Brock, your boss is in the chat. Boss underscore I24 saying, Brock TV, where is that last review? Where's it at?
It'll be
I'm
there.
reading what my head has.
It would definitely be there. I might be tipsy by the time I do it, but it'll be there.
Okay, that should be interesting then.
What are you gonna say, Albert? You're like about to say something.
No, I was just sitting there saying I was like, that's gonna be interesting as far as his review being tipsy. So
Oh, it's gonna be something.
So
I watched the episode like early this morning. I watched it and I was like, yeah, I got some shit to talk about certain people. Cause I seen somebody do something that I would have popped him upside his fucking head for.
So let's get in. I mean, well, what did you see, or do you want to save that for the review?
Oh nah, just this little piece of shit agent I seen barging in people's offices like he owned the place. I said, we not having that.
Yeah, Jordan was like, "Yo, listen, I don't care if you're an Avenger. Like, you're not just gonna just walk up in my office like that. We're not doing that."
Yeah, come in here demanding case files. Listen, if you don't take your ass out my office, you got two options. You could leave voluntarily, or I could turn you around and put a shoe up your ass. Either way, you getting out of my office. We not demanding nothing around here.
You saw how he walked in there like he owned the place?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would have knocked him upside his little fucking head. Like, who is you? Oh, the deputy mayor. The deputy mayor ain't got no authority over here. In case y'all have not heard, the mayor is back. So the deputy ain't got shit to do with this over here. Who is she to call an agent in here to tell me I'm off the case? That don't work that way.
Yeah, that was crazy. Did you see all of it this week, DC?
Yes. I'm fully caught up on every soap actually, except B&B. B&B is the only one I'm not caught up.
You ain't missing nothing.
Yeah, right.
I could tell you, I didn't watch yesterday's B&B, but I could tell you how it went. Brooke sitting right there begging Red, "Why are you leaving? Why are you leaving?"
RJ needs his parents to go.
And Reg gonna sit right there and not answer the question as usual. And you got some bullshit annulment papers. How you getting annulment out of a 4-year marriage? I'm confused. That sounds like, no disrespect, because that's my dude, but that sounds like some Tyler Perry shit. That sounds like Tyler Perry writing. you can't. There's no such thing as an annulment after 4 years of marriage.
I was a little
Annulments,
surprised by that too, though.
yeah, I said nah, Brooke. I don't even. I'm gonna be real with you. Everybody know I don't really like Brooke like that. But if he want to go, you can go. But I'm tearing up these annulment papers. I'm gonna refile this shit as divorce papers, and I'm gonna get half of what I'm supposed to get because it is California, and we didn't sign no prenup because I know they didn't. So we gonna start looking at that force to stop real quick, see what I'm entitled to that. Cause I said, nah, she a damn fool. You let Ridge walk away from you, and you ain't getting nothing. You
But
would be
she's
a
already
damn
got
fool.
half the Forrester clan. I mean, because you got to think about it, she already had Rick and Bridget through Eric, so she's already set in the Forrester dynasty.
No, she is, but she need to go for half of what his punk ass got. You need to get half that stock. That's what you're legally entitled to. You know they need to get what's that? They call her something. It's a famous divorce attorney. Everybody hire her in Hollywood. Everybody who want a good divorce, they hire her. What's her name? They call her the Disso Queen, Laura Wasser. That's who they need to get on that show for her. You get Laura Wasser, Ridge ass. All she'll leave in that man's pocket is some lint and a Tic Tac.
So we just being spiteful at this point, then, right? Is that
I'm saying, was she legally entitled to? You ain't got to go for the juggler. I mean, you can, because like I said, it's California. A judge gonna give you whatever they feel. He not trying to tell you what he leaving you for. He can't even tell you that. And I feel like that's why he wanted the annulment anyway, because in the divorce, you're going to have to give a reason.
Oh.
And, you know, everybody's standard reason for a divorce is, what they call that? Irreconcilable differences.
Yeah,
I hate that shit. I said, what does that mean? Like he put hands on you or something? What that mean? I guess it could mean different things, I suppose.
Speaking of which, did they ever conclude the whole Lee and Bill Spencer thing?
No.
They just let that go?
It's I think it's still viable. I think it's in the air. Because from what I heard, they're gonna have interaction soon. Pretty coming up, him and Lee. But you know he back on his Brooke shit though.
The minute that she was single, the minute that he found out he was right at her door, I'm like, bro, seriously? And then you got Deacon. Oh my God. I'm like,
Broke.
bro, what are you doing?
Broke. Where he get money for an engagement ring is what I want to know.
Him and Sheila together just feel weird. I can't even. It would have been different if in the beginning if they would have put Sheila and Deacon together, but I feel like at this point, and they did that whole Halloween episode with Sheila, which I was like, okay, all right.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think Albert, you need the backstory. You need the backstory.
Yes, yeah.
How crazy she was. Now, like I said, in Sheila's defense, Lauren did start it. Sheila just finished it. She really finished it. Because Sheila was being nice at the beginning when they met back in the 90s.
I would like to be a fly on the wall when they having sex because I just want to know how you fucking somebody with 9 toes. Like, if she wants you to like lick the feet or something like that, do you do lick 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you skip that middle part? Like you don't lick the stump? I just want to know. Like, inquiring minds want to know.
Well, remember, this is the same show where Brooke slept with Oliver Jones, not realizing, you know, underneath the sheets
that trick was stupid as hell for that. Right. She slept with that man and had the gall, and I'll never forget that storyline. Ridge, I thought it was you. So you listen. No, I'm a. How do I word this? How you don't know after all these years, you don't know your husband's older penis compared to young you. Okay, let me put it like this: you don't know your husband's body from this man's body, and I'm pretty sure she had to look down and see it. So you just letting somebody slide up in you, just assuming that's your husband, so you don't know your husband's body.
But then would she really be looking? Okay, then.
Listen. At some point, when you having sex, you gonna look down or look at something real quick. Albert, I see you fucking that ice cream up knowing I'm on a diet.
Oh, my bad. It's kind of a thing that I've been doing for a hot minute.
I listen. I ain't about to purge you from your ice cream eating.
But
But Bill forgot all about Katie ass though.
oh, with the quickness.
Mm-hmm. I was
like, Katie's like the Chelsea of B&B.
Yeah, but she bounced back real nice though. You got Carter now. She bounced back nice.
But for some reason, Carter and Katie don't have that same chemistry the way they did with Quinn. It's not the same.
They did Quinn dirty.
They really did.
Yep.
Did.
Like I read why she left the show, and I was like, yeah, that's fucked up. Like, how you tell somebody of Rena Sulfur's stature, we don't have a story for you coming up. You got to go to return until we have something. What type of shit is that?
Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, you're basically snitching saying, "Oh, we don't have anything for you now. Just sit tight. We'll find you something. We'll find you something to do."
Yeah, my people will call your people when we got something. I don't blame her for hitting the door because I would have hit the door too, or at least made you pay me out the ass in my new contract or something. I was like, listen, you gonna have to give me $10 million plus some Forrester stock to get me to stay here.
See, that's what I was saying though. I feel like this could be the perfect opportunity for her to go to GH as Lois. I know we got 20,000 people on, but what's one more?
You said 20,000 shit. You might want to add another zero to that.
I mean, this is a perfect opportunity for Lois to come back on and cause some little tension between, Olivia and Ned. Olivia right now, she's becoming the new Quartermaine matriarch. You can tell she's kind of walking into that role a little bit. I think it would be perfect to buy her on.
DC, don't call her that.
She's a new Quartermaine matriarch.
She's not ready for that.
She's judgmental. She's having psychic vision. She's married to the head of the family, which is pretty much Ned at this point. Michael was trying to be, but it's not working.
I'm trying to get used to all this new patriarch business with these new people, because I come from an era where you watched Edward, you watched Lila, you watched Monica, you watched Tracy. Olivia, I'm just like, she need to go make her spaghetti sauce and go sit down. Go make her empanadas or whatever the hell Italians make. No offense to Italians, because I think y'all cook good as shit. So I'm butchering what y'all call the food, because they call the food all types of names. But I don't know if she's ready to step into that role though.
So let me ask this then. Let me ask this. Would you feel like, because this is how I always see GH, I feel like, and I don't know if you two agree with this. I see Laura as like the matriarch of GH, and then Sonny as the patriarch of GH. Would you agree with that?
I can see that.
A mob boss as the patriarch. All right, take the mob boss part off the table.
Because I think he's the only person that could fit that role would be Sonny, even though he's not like your typical patriarch that you have. He's like your Victor Newman.
Hold on, pause real quick. Pause. I'm gonna come back to this. What the hell are you eating now? You just ate ice cream.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what's that? Noodles?
Yep.
Do you put hot sauce in them?
No.
Oh.
I'm sorry to the people in the chat, but I'm about to make this live very ghetto for a second. But I just seen some wild shit. You had Reese's. What's that? Reese's Pieces ice cream?
Yep.
And noodles?
Yep.
Oh, you got the big carton too. I know you ain't eating that big ass carton yourself.
No, I mean I'm gonna eat it over a course of a couple of days. Yeah.
Okay.
You can put that shit in a bowl. I know we don't like washing dishes no more, but put that thing in a bowl.
I don't know. It's kind of a thing though. I've been doing for a hot minute, so.
Let me stop messing with this man and food and get his grub on. Let me stop. But yeah,
you good.
Sonny as a patriarch. I just see him as the head of his family. That's what I see him as, and barely at that, because his family is falling the fuck apart at the seams. Speaking of Sonny, real quick, I'm tired of some of his family members acting all brand new, like they don't know this cat. I mean, I get it. They don't know this version of him. I get it. But all that bitching and whining every 5 seconds over Nina, I'm like, listen, this man done had more girls than Jerry had curls back in the day. I don't understand what is so different about. I mean, I get it because it's Nina. You know, she fucked the family over. I get it, but he done dated worse women than that. Like he done married a bitch that had his son killed. Well, not killed, but shot accidentally, and he done married to her. And I miss that woman. Out of all the women he done brought with, I can't say for a fact I miss the hell out of Claudia. Ava, let me tell you something. Claudia, she crawled and walked so Ava Jerome could run. Because I feel like Ava is the reincarnation of Claudia. She's what Claudia would have been today. Still with the crit.
The Rock just what happened to Brock? Did we just lose Brock? Did we lose the signal?
It seems like so. I don't know what the hell just happened.
The hook just came and took him out.
Am I back?
Kind of crazy. Oh, there you go.
Nah, see, that's the problem when I do this on my phone. Somebody call.
You know, when it came to Ava and Claudia, because I really liked them when we had the Zakaras on, like a good mob family. And when the Jeromes came on, I had a lot of high expectations. And at this point, I have just lowered my expectations when a new mob film comes to town. Miss Wu, I thought was finally going to get it right. She was on for 2 episodes. We haven't seen her since. She comes on once in a while to just stare at Curtis all weird, and then she's gone for another couple of weeks. It's been a real disappointment with Miss Wu. Real disappointment with that.
They dropping the ball on my boo, and I don't like that. Because when Miss Wu come on screen, I'm glued. Because I'm like, when she comes on screen, she owns it. Like, she'll tell a bitch real quick, I run this. Like, she don't even got to tell you she run it. You just know.
Right.
Like, everybody stand and take notice when she go. Even when she was talking to Cody, Matt came over and was like, nah, you don't need to talk to her. He know what time it is. Ms. Wu need to run the show at this point. She need to be calling the shots. Sonny, he need to hand over complete operations to her. He need to go just run a business, you know, get your coffee empire back together, go create Corinthos Enterprises or whatever, get VLQ a run for their money. Do something like that. Because I feel like Sonny, he need to go to, I feel like at some point, Sonny Corinthos needs to go the route of Victor Kiriakis. Victor was, you know, a main mob boss for a long time. As he got older, he became more mellow. He became a more legitimate businessman with, you know, an ire. Like, he still got goons when he need them. And I feel like Sonny needs to, you know, transform to that at some point. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Sonny's starting to lose that edge a bit. And I've been noticing that about him. Like, he's losing that. I mean, look at Sonny from 2008 to Sonny today. Major difference. Major difference.
It seems like the writers don't know how to transition him into that role, because I totally forgot that Victor Kiriakis used to be a mob boss back in that. Totally forgot that. And it seems like the writers on Jace, they don't know how to successfully transition Sonny into that, because, and I think a part of them is scared that they do that, they're going to lose some viewers, because, and me and Abbott, we were talking about this the other day on this last live, where it's kind of like, you know, when it comes to GH, and I used to clown on the Bob Guzzi years, but the Bob Guzzi years, it's the reason why we're still here today. I got to give it to that. It's the reason why we're still here today.
Bob Guzzi, he caught a lot of shit. And I'm not gonna lie. He caught a lot of shit even from me, because it was always the gruesome foursome.
Right.
Everything was Sam, Jason, Sonny, Carly. And don't get me wrong, we got some good ass mob scenes out of that. We got some good shit. But we needed, you know, I'm glad now that we're at least moving it around. But the problem is, some of these new people they got in, they just not hitting like they supposed to. And I think they can. Like Austin. I watched yesterday's episode today. I feel like Austin got more motherfucking chemistry with Britt than he ever would with Maxie. Him and Maxie have zero chemistry.
Exactly.
Zero. Him and Britt just sitting around talking about a terminal illness interested me more than any conversation he had with Maxie.
I agree.
Yeah, me too.
I agree. You know, the funny thing about it is, when you mention Carly, Jason, Sam, and Sonny, is that even though they focus so much on those four, it's funny that all those four belong to the main families of Port Charles. Sonny the Corinthos, Carly the Spencer, Sam the Casside, and then Jason the Quartermaine. But they were also disconnected from their families at the same time. That was the ironic part about it.
That's the funny shit. That's the funny shit about it. They don't want nothing to do with them families. Nothing. And Sam was right not to have nothing to do with the Cassadons because I mean, shit. Look at Helena. This witch died and left her to split a penny. That's how you know how she felt about their ass.
Right.
And it's and it's funny, you know, Brock, when you were talking about Sonny losing his edge and stuff, because you know, again, me and DC been talking about this for a hot minute as far as like, you know, we feeling well. A lot of people feel that Sonny's days, or Maurice's days on the show is just coming to an end. Like slowly, you can just feel it. You know, you just feel it. And this whole you know conflict between Michael and Sonny, this you know it feels forced, but it feels forced for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean the conflict with Michael. I'm all for Michael and Sonny beefing, but make the beef make more sense. The Nina shit is running very thin with me because I'm like, you willing to go to war and destroy him, put him in prison over Nina, but you went to war with him he went to war with Sonny this time way longer, I feel, than he did when AJ got popped.
Yep.
I'm like, that's what you should be trying to destroy him for. That makes more sense.
Yeah, and then he forgave him later on, and it was just like, wait, so you forgive Sonny for killing your dad, but Nina, this is the one that you're just like, oh yeah, no, now he has to go to jail. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, shit is stupid. Like he went through the whole. That's why I love when Ned chewed into his ass. I loved it. Ned gave him and Drew what for, and I loved it. I loved every second of it because Ned said what I've been feeling, what I've been thinking. You are a fucking Quartermaine when it suits you. When it suits you, that's when you want to be a Quartermaine. You sat here and went through all the trouble of signing paperwork in front of Carly. Oh, I'm changing my name to Quartermaine. Then as soon as shit got right, oh, I'm back to Corinthos now. It don't work that way. Like I understand they both your family, I get it, but stop the flip flopping shit. Like 1 minute you don't want you denouncing the Corinthos name, and that's a stupid part to me because he wants the Corinthos name to mean something. I'm like, dude, the Corinthos name, it don't matter what you do, that name is always going to be synonymous with the mob. Yeah. It's been built around the mob. You're not going to change that. Anywhere you go, Sonny could die today. 10 years from now, you mention the name Corinthos. Oh, Sonny Corinthos, mob boss, is going to be there. That's the stigma. You can't change that. So Michael just need to go ahead, either forgive or change your damn name back to Quartermaine and keep it that way, or shut the hell up altogether. By the way, I just want to put this out there too. I seen the new girl that Chad was dating or whatnot. When I tell you that's too much woman for him, that's too much woman for him. I seen her butt. I said, nah, that's too much lady for you. That's too much. Because he couldn't even grip that shit. I said, nah, you can't even grip that right. That ain't for you. You need something less than that. But she looked good. Okay. I just had to bring that up real quick because I was like, I seen the pictures they took, and I was like, damn, that's your lady. And I'm like, yeah, that's too much lady for him.
Now, when you say Chad, you mean like him in real life?
Yeah, I mean the actor. Yeah, the actor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up real quick because I seen their pictures.
I don't think Albert follows any of that stuff. Like,
I knew, like, you know, him and the woman from Sally, like, they were married for a while, then, like, they split up.
Oh, yeah,
I know that much, yeah.
I don't think that was legal.
Yeah, he said on State of Mind with Maurice that the marriage wasn't even legal.
What?
And they had all that pomp and circumstance and all this stuff and the dressing up. And I still think Kristen Alderson's the love of his life. That's what I believe deep down inside. But yeah, he said he admitted on that show that the marriage wasn't even legal between them.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Wow.
I typically refrain from wanting to talk about people's personal life because it's just, I mean, but I can't help it. I'm like, some of y'all shit more interesting in real life than what y'all do on the show. Shit is more like the shit with Steve Burton. I'm like, shit with him and his wife. I was like, that could make for good drama. I said, well, damn, your wife pop up pregnant, everybody congratulating your ass, and that ain't even your child. I said, damn.
Ooh.
I said, well, now this getting interesting.
So what are you
Now,
guys thinking about Steve coming back to date?
yeah, I was gonna sit there and say, yeah.
I like it. I like it. I feel like some people might not like what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I don't give a damn. I feel like they ran their course with Jason Morgan.
I feel the same
I
way.
feel the only way you can have Steve Burton on GH at this present moment is if he gets his memories back and he goes back to Jason Quartermaine. That's the only way you're going to get mileage out of him. As far as Jason Morgan, him and Sonny at this point in the mob world, they dried up. They're dried up. I mean, they went up against Cyrus and didn't know how to handle him properly. I mean, I felt like they did okay with handling him, but they used to go harder than that at their enemies. I mean, shit, you going up against Cyrus, you can't put Cyrus down, but you could go up against the fucking Russian mob? How you go up against the Russian mob, but you can't take on Cyrus Renault?
Right.
The Russians are way more bigger and badder than Cyrus. They burned down the coffee house with Olivia ass in it. Took Jason's son. They did some rough shit to them. Like, they was hitting them hard. Way harder. I will say, though, Cyrus, he did good, though. I like the way Cyrus did it. Because when Cyrus came in, he had hitmen coming at every damn Corinthos he could find. All in one day. I like that. That's a hell of an entrance. I give him that. But now he done found Jesus and whatnot. I don't know how you go from that to this. I don't know. But okay.
I feel like Cyrus in this whole him finding God, it's giving Mitch Lawrence vibes for me. That's how I feel. It's giving Mitch Lawrence vibes. You know, when Mitch Lawrence had a cult on One Life to Live, it's giving Mitch Lawrence vibes me. But Albert, I want to know, what do you think about Steve going to Days? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, the thing is, Brock is right. And I know you're right about that. But I feel like for me, I'm so used to Jason being there that it's like emotionally, like logically it makes sense, but emotionally it's just like, I can't picture him not being there. And then every time I see him on Days, you know, I think it was one episode he had on like a black jacket. It was like, bro, what are you doing? Like, people who know you was like, come on, man, like what are you doing? I'm happy that he has a job, and I'll just sit there and say that because I was not a fan of what Jace did, but I just miss him as Jason Morgan.
But let me ask you this: what story do you think they could give him though on GH right now? Like, since I
more
didn't say
Bob
the emotional side,
more Bob shit, more him running around. Oh, Sonny, we got to handle this. We got. Okay, we seen that a million times. What else you got? What else you got? The most I seen what they did with him, what I liked years ago, was that they finally started to have Jason stand up to motherfuckers like Carly and stuff, like telling Carly, no, Sam not going nowhere. She gonna stay right here. I like that. I said it was about damn time. Every time Carly would come in the room, Sam, oh, I'm gonna leave y'all to talk. And Carly be like, all right, no, fuck that. That's your lady. She get to stay. She know, I mean, come on, you ain't gonna do nothing but tell her anything anyway. So she might as well stay. You know, they finally gave him a backbone for that, and then they finally got him married off and having a family of his own for once. You know what I'm saying? But that didn't last too much long, and I just feel like at this point, what more can you do with Jason? As a enforcer, it's like, I just feel like if you're gonna have Sonny still be in the business, that Mike shit is gonna have to go. Because don't get me wrong, when Sonny's in mob mode, we see some of that old Sonny flickering out. You know what I'm saying? But it's that, lately it's that, I'm gonna take care of Victor, I'm gonna do this. You barking a lot, but I don't see a lot of biting.
Right.
I'm like, Sonny of old could handle Victor Cassadine. Sonny of today, Victor will walk circles around him. He not touching Victor at this present moment.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't have Jason.
Well, I feel like, people use that excuse for years. That, he when he ain't got Jason. My thing was, Sonny built that shit up before Jason even came to work for him. He was doing fine without Jason before. He did better with Jason, of course. But even when Jason was gone for a while, Sonny was still handling business without him. He still stayed, on his toes. But I feel like Sonny could be good without Jason, but you lost that edge that you need to get back.
Plus, he's always had somebody when Jason was gone. I think once he had Max and Milo, then it was Sean. I got Dax. At one point, it was Drew. He always seemed to have somebody in the trenches just waiting to take Jason's spot. 'Cause that's a spot you can't leave empty.
No, you can't. And that's the thing. Sonny can handle his business by himself. That's been proven. But when you're a boss, you're going to need somebody to do the dirty work because you're not going to do it always by yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're not always going to do it. And you need somebody to, be your eyes and ears when you can't always be there. Sonny, he can run the business himself, but it gets dicey. Because you gotta watch this person and that person. And we got Miss Wu. We don't know what her agenda is. We don't know what she planning. She act all nice and stuff in front of Sonny. Oh, I want to cut you in on this, but I feel like it's all a long plot for her. She playing the long game, and I feel like at some point she's playing it smart. I feel like at some point she's gonna make her move when she feel like it's the right time, and Sonny won't see it coming.
And that's another thing too. I was thinking of was how the stuff that Sonny has Dex doing, Jason would not be doing that type of stuff. Even he had Sean doing prison breakouts, Dex doing prison breakouts, driving a prison van, crashing. Jason had an extent. Jason had his clock out for the day.
Yep.
That's where Jason will be clocking out.
Exactly.
These other guys, they don't know how to. I mean, I get it because they don't have that history with Sonny, so they don't know how to step to him and tell them what their limits are. Because Jason is like that employee in the job that's been there for 20 years or so, and they come and go as they please because they know where all the dead bodies are buried. And well, in Jason's case, literally, he knows
exactly. Exactly.
I feel like Jason would still do it though. Like Jason would still sit there and do the prison break. If Sonny asked him to do it, he would do it.
But I feel like for some reason it wouldn't be in that type of a way. It would just be because I don't know, the prison break they have with Dex. I feel like every time Sonny's done something like this in the past, it's always been so much more smoother than this. Because this is a lot more.
Oh yeah, Jason is a lot smarter. I would sit there and say that much.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it would have been a lot more smoother the way he had it. And I was thinking about something earlier that Brock was saying about in terms of Carly, how Jason stood up to her. I remember the time when Carly had found out that Jake was Jason's son and Jake and Elizabeth were there. And Carly acts so shocked as if it was happening to her, like Jake was her son. When this had nothing to do with her. I remember that time. She was acting like she was Jason's wife. That's why I wish that would have played out,
That's the problem with her. She always act like she owned that man. She always act like he was property. You know what I'm saying? Like she'll tell you, oh, that's my friend, that's my best friend. Now you treat that man like he your damn dog. That's the problem. You think that man's supposed to jump when you say jump and he's supposed to ask how high. That's the problem. And I think Jason started to realize that you know what? He put a lot on the back burner for them. And it was time to kind of live some of his life as he should. It's like you can't, you a hitman for them. You protect the family, you this, that, and the third. But Carly just too damn much sometimes. And now, you know what? Let her ass be Drew problem. He gonna see the bullshit Jason had to deal with for all these years.
But he's not gonna sit there and have the patience that Jason did, though.
Exactly, and that's what I like. Hopefully, he don't stop being. Lately I don't like the way he beat her little puppy dog either. But it's like,
I mean, that's gonna change when the Willow truth comes out. That's gonna change. Yeah. It's like, oh, you lied to me.
Yeah, Drew, I don't think has that much tolerance like Jason. I don't think he has that much tolerance. But I feel like if it was Jason, I think she would have told Jason by now.
Yeah.
She would have told
him. And that's my whole other thing. So, Brock, what do you think of Drew so far? Because there's a lot of people, even people in the chat, that's like, oh, I don't like Drew, and I don't, what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on Drew?
I feel like Drew at this point is a man without a damn country. I feel like he ain't got nothing better to do with himself. I was feeling it at first. I said, okay, because I like Cameron Matheson. I like the actor. You know, I watched him on All My Children and stuff back in the day. I liked him. He annoyed me on that show a little bit, but as far as Drew, it's like I don't like his scenes with Ned. I don't like how he think he gonna come in and run roughshod over somebody who's been in that family all their life and been a part of that company all their life, and you think you know better than the person that's been there, and you haven't been there all your life. Like you just found out you were part of that family a few years ago, and you think you know better than him, and you think you're gonna run something and you're gonna take over. Like he has to negotiate with you. I didn't like that because I'm like, number one, Ned about to show y'all bitches who he is. Like he been nice to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Especially Drew, he's been nice, but he about to show you who his mama is, who he is, and he got some of his mama in him. And we all know how ridiculous and over the top Tracy can be. So Ned is a more, you know, refined version of her, but he's still just as deadly as his mother. And I feel like, you know, Drew keep barking up that tree with Ned, he gonna find out something real quick. You don't want to mess with Ned. But overall, I think Drew is a flop at this point for me.
I agree.
That's
Yeah,
just
I was
my
gonna sit there and say, and I was gonna sit there and say, DC, like, what are your thoughts on Drew?
Well, I'll say this when it comes to Drew. When it comes to Drew, or like as what is it? They always make the joke in the comments. People say GH Sunday Shift calls him Drew Lavery, and I see that because it's just giving Ryan Lavery. And this is the thing. And I never like to comment on people's acting skills, but that is just the thing. Like, and I said this, I think, on your last live when we were doing live together, Albert, how there's some actors and actresses, they give the same thing in every role they give. And I feel like Cameron Matheson is one of the people like Jackée Harry. She gets Jackée Harry in every role she gives, but it works. But it works. It works. That's the thing. It works. She's done it from the Royal Family, from Sister to Days of Our Lives. She's given the same thing every time, but it works. Cameron Matheson, though, he's given Ryan Lavery or Cameron Matheson in every role he's been in. In this particular case, I don't know if it's working, though. That's my only thing. I don't know if it's working for this role. Just because you had, I think it was Billy Miller who last played Drew. And there was a toughness, a sternness, a little bit of like a vulnerability, a slight vulnerability that was there that I don't feel like Cameron Matheson is capturing as Drew. To me, this is just Ryan Lavery. He just took a car ride from Pine Valley to Port Charles. He found the love of Carly. That's what I'm seeing when I see Drew. So what about you?
I mean, it's different for me because I didn't watch All My Children, so like I can't sit there and compare him to another character. But what I can say is, in the beginning, I really enjoyed his character, and it's not like I don't enjoy his character now, but I just feel like for me, it's a missed opportunity. You know, like yeah, he's doing stuff with Carly and stuff like that, but when he got back, Curtis was like, "Well, what do you want to do? You know, like what do you want to do?" And so far, he's been doing with Carly, and then the whole cute thing with Michael is like give me something else. You know, that's what I think personally.
Yeah, they haven't given him a quest or anything like a character development storyline of his own that they could tap into. I mean, they've had to mention Oscar here and there, but Drew just seems like he's really a character that's been brought in for Carly's storyline and not so much of his own. So that's why I just feel like when him and Carly fizzle out, what is he going to do next? Because he definitely doesn't have chemistry with Sam. That's just not there. I don't see it. I'm like Stevie Wonder. I don't see it at all. Brock, I want to know your thoughts on that, but I just don't see the chemistry with him and Sam. But honestly, I just feel like it's working right now for Carly's storyline. The Jackson storyline, I was expecting more. I was very disappointed. But it was nice. It was a nice little positive touch. I was okay. You know what? Everything doesn't have to be so grandiose and so we can have some small simmer moments time to time. But I was expecting more. I was.
Seemed like he froze.
Got
the Matrix.
In the comments. It's giving Ottawa 20.
I was, it's funny. I was just gonna sit there and say I was just gonna sit there and try to prepare Brock for that for Ottawa 20, but I don't think he's meant Ottawa 20 yet.
I want to ask this, guys. I want to ask this. It's all right. Just because we were, I mentioned Jackée. what do you guys think of? Sorry, just asking this. I know kind of we were talking about GH, but what do you guys think about this election storyline they had going on in Days with Chanel and everything? Because Rock, I know you watch Days. I know you watch Days.
I feel like it was a good coincide with the real election. I think that they did it. The timing of it was perfect. Sloan, I feel like, Paulina should have knocked her shit, because I ain't about to sit here and negotiate. I'm not a fan of blackmail, because I'm not. That's why I say I can't be on no show like this, because I would have to go off script real quick and let you know you ain't about to blackmail me. I'll go to the media right now, tell my shit. I'll put it all on the table. That's why you can't have me on this show. I'll go off script. I'm not about to sit here and write you no check for half my worth, or because I need to cover up something that's about to come out anyway. I'm like, then that's going to be my millions lost on something that just came out. I got to pay more millions on legal fees. I'm like, yeah, no. Furthermore, I'm glad, though, that Chanel hired Belle, at least, because Laura knows she shouldn't hire Justin. Justin can't get nobody off of shit at this point. I don't know why they write him like that, but that's a terrible attorney. Like, every time they get him, he just, you going to jail, you hire him. I'm like, you either going to jail or you about to lose a lawsuit. But I think the storyline so far, I'm liking it. I'm not a fan of her lying to Abe again, though. I ain't a fan of that, because I feel like Abe gonna get tired of that shit at some point. Because I think he accepted it for right now. It was like something that happened already, and he doesn't want to focus on that. He's like, all right, let me focus on Chanel now. He didn't get all about their relationship. Oh, you lied to me again. He was like, nah, Chanel is the more important part. But if you keep doing it, I'm glad that even Paulina acknowledged it. She was like, here I go lying again, and at least you acknowledged it. You know what I mean? That's what you did. But overall, I like the story so far, and I want to know more about it.
Same here. What are you, Albert?
I'm enjoying it so far. I am. I'm just like, the hell? I'm just like, I hope it doesn't drag out with this. What does Chanel do? And I feel like I don't know. I have this sinking feeling like Sloan is like, whatever it is, it must have personally happened to Sloan, because you walked up in her office to sit there and gloat. You took the time, the energy to go all the way down to her office, be like, yeah, well, I got the papers back and this, that, and the third, and it's like, what's the point of that? I feel like she might be involved in some way.
Probably a family member. That's what I was thinking.
But what I don't get is when Sloan came back to the office and then Leo just opened the safe, I'm just thinking to myself, like, has Pauline never heard of a shredder, like disposing of it? And I mean, because my mind, though, I was kind of shocked that Sloan only had one copy, like one particular file in 2022. You mean tell me you didn't put it in an iCloud somewhere?
But
like,
what's wild?
One physical file.
The shit that's wild to me is when it comes to the blackmail stuff on murder, is you come into the office. Oh, I know Chanel murdered somebody, but you come in here with a file that got papers in it. So you mean to tell me y'all got murder on paper? Like, what's on this paper that proves that she murdered somebody? How do you get murder on paper?
Right.
That's what I'd be confused about. I said, wouldn't you have like a video or flash drive or something? Why you got paperwork for murder?
Right, because it's never been documented, right, from what they've known, right?
Exactly. You showing me documents of murder. How do you do that? How does that stand up? Like, what is on the paper that's supposed to prove she murdered somebody? Is it a transcript of a conversation? Like text messages or something like that? That's the only thing I could think of. Because I'm like, okay, you got proof she murdered somebody, so I'm assuming instead of having a file with paperwork in it, you're going to have a flash drive or something that has a video of it or audio or something of that nature. And I never understood that on shows when they do that. Like, they're coming here with all type of paper. Oh, you murdered this person. Okay, so what the fuck is on this paper? That's supposed to prove to you that I murdered somebody. What is on this thing? That right there, I would have laughed in your face and shoved them papers down your throat. It was like, okay, take me to the DA. Since you got imaginary papers on me. I mean, if you gonna have paperwork, they better be tax evasion, text messages proving I said something. But
Right.
proof of murder, what the hell is that? I don't know I don't know how they come up with that.
And see, I'm hoping that also that Albert is right. This doesn't like. I honestly think Albert might have a point that we might see this get dragged out because it's been going on for almost for a month and a half where we don't know what it is, who it is exactly that Chanel killed. And my whole thing is, how much more gruesome can it be than what Lonnie did at this point? Like,
Exactly.
what's the motive? Like, what was going on behind all this? Or did
You know,
Chanel
on top
or something?
And then on top of that, you gotta sit there and look at it this way. They spent a whole week or something to try to get these papers, right? Just for her to get it back next week. Oh, Chanel's locked up. Boy, I'm so glad that I was on pins and needles and that they're waiting to hope that they were gonna get the file back. And then and then on top of that, I'm like, okay, so you got the papers back, but she still read what's in the file. So what's to stop her from sitting there being like, hey Melinda, I got some news for you. You got the papers back. Okay, that's great. What's that going to do?
Right.
I want to know this though. I just want to know because I'm not a big Rafe fan, never have been. One, I want to know why the hell they keep pairing him up with people that got kids already, and he got to play stepdaddy to other people's kids, and he ain't never got kids of his own. Furthermore, what the fuck was he thinking marrying this girl, knowing she's still in love with her ex-husband anyway? Like, you've known this since the day you married the chick, and now you want to get all upset about it, and just admit that you're still in love with him. How about going down to the courthouse, filing an annulment? I believe in this case you probably can. Right. You know, y'all haven't been married a full year yet, so maybe you can file an annulment on this one. Cite it as fraud because she did marry you under fraudulent tendencies. Like, you sitting here wanting her to answer a question that you already know the answer to. She's still in love with her ex-husband, so why the fuck are you still sitting there with your ring on, going back and forth with her? And now they sitting here locking lips and shit. As soon as you leave out the room, I wouldn't even left the room. I would act like I did leave. Came back in, found y'all kissing, took my gun out and put a couple buckshots in y'all ass, and then filed for divorce. Like, it's that simple. I don't know why Rafe keeps setting himself up because he does this all the time. He'll get with a woman that he know is still in love with somebody else, or he would get with somebody that he know that he ain't really in love with because he did it to Ava. Like, he literally gaslight the shit out of her. And I feel like it's karma for him because he gaslit the shit out of Ava. Like, he tried to make Ava think, oh, ain't nothing going on with me and Nicole and this, that, and the third, and you wilding out, there's nothing going on. And your ass was doing it, but now you mad at Nicole for doing what you did. You did the same thing to Ava not too long ago. You kept swearing up and down. Me and Nicole just friends. We don't look at each other that way. But look at y'all. Having sex on desks. And if I was Brady and all them, I would definitely be, wiping areas down before I sit my non-scotch guarded ass down because I'm not sitting on no table and chair. Y'all was up here doing the freak on. No. But Rafe is an idiot to me.
See, that's the thing. I feel like Rafe suffers from Jack Abbott syndrome, where he's always a groomed man, but never the groom. Because you're right. He's done this with every woman he's been with where they've had kids or he wasn't available. It was Ava, Jordan Ridgway, Sammy, Hope, Nicole. I mean, the list is like, it just keeps going on and on with Rafe. And it's like, Rafe is one of those, like I said, the reason why I say he suffers from Jack Abbott syndrome is because I feel like even with Jack on YNR, he's one of those characters where he's been involved in practically half the women in the cast, but he's never really had a true love of his life, just like Rafe has never really truly had that on days. They've never really set that up for him for whatever reason. He's always just been the seat warmer. And that's what Jack's been in a lot of cases on YNR, probably with the exception of Diane. But most of the time, most of the women, it's been a seat warmer.
Jack has been the ultimate seat warmer.
Right.
Jack, I swear to God, I'll never forget that storyline. He married Nikki one day.
Oh, yeah.
She went and looked for Victor the same night she married Jack. Got out the bed, worrying about Victor. Didn't have the gall to say, oh, I'm just going to go try to find Victor. Jack was like, Victor has other family. He got his grown kids. He got investigators who can go try to find him. Why do you have to go do it? I just have to go find. You ain't come up with a good reason because you ain't got one. Other than that, you're still in love with him and you married Jack. I'm like, Jack, I was so irritated. Like, Jack, why y'all go back and forth with these people? Just tell her to kick rocks with no socks and go about her business. Like, tell her to leave her ring at the door because I'm gonna take it back to the store, get my money back. Because I mean, obviously we can't get reimbursed for the wedding. I'm gonna get reimbursed for something. You know what I mean? Like, and then on top of that, I would be pissed. I'm pretty sure Jack had to hide his liquor in the house because he married her. So I would have been pissed on top of that too.
You know, did you? I don't know if you. I mentioned this to Albert, but I don't know if you caught this week, Brock, where Nikki and Victor were talking, and then Victor was saying his mustache mode. He was like, "Jack has always had a problem for. He's always had a thing for problematic women." And then Nikki goes, "I hope you're not talking about me." I'm not included.
Oh, Nikki, yeah, he's talking about your little stripper ass.
Jack Abbott has always had a thing for problematic women.
I swear to God, watching Y&R nowadays is just like, it blows my mind when I have to watch it because I just look at Nikki now and just like, how the fuck did you get so sedity? Like, you was just so snooty. And you used to strip at the bayou. But yet you look down at people like Sharon and Diane. But you used to take your clothes off, though. You used to take your clothes off and shake your little ass around for dollar bills to get rich men, and you landed one. Well, hell, you landed more than one. And you sit here and look your nose down at these women like they the devil. And I don't get it. Like, you wouldn't have the lifestyle you have if it wasn't for Victor. Like, Victor literally got her from the bottom. Like, he took, like, she was, the black sticky shit at the bottom of the barrel when he found her.
Jesus.
Like, and you sitting here acting like you better than these women? I don't get that.
She was Victor's fourth wife. He had Eve and a whole bunch of others in the beginning. Nikki was his fourth wife.
Exactly. And I'm kind of nervous because, God forbid, it's going to happen one day, but that when that day comes that, Victor is no longer on the show, and it's going to come one day, hopefully no time soon, because even though he irked my soul sometimes, that's still my dude. But it's going to come a point where he ain't on the show no more. And I am dreading the reading of his will because I just know it's going to be some bullshit in that will in terms of the company, in terms of the ranch. And I just don't want this heifer gaining half of his estate because you think she bougie and sedity now. She gonna be bougie and sedity times 20 by the time she get this shit. But if she inherits something from him, it's like her bougie level is gonna be up here. It's gonna be at the max. And I don't want to see that. Because her, Ashley, and Sharon, I mean, not Sharon, who was it? Her, Ashley, and Phyllis working my fucking nerve. Like, we got to get Diane out of town. Like, this is the best y'all got for them to do? Like, the fake-ass Stepford wives, this is what you got for them to do up here? Going after Diane every 5 minutes?
And it's funny, too, because I was just going to sit there and segue into that. DC, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
All right, and so going into that point, we'll start with you. What do you? Because we talked about this before, but just for anyone that's new in the chat or whatever, what are your thoughts about these three women that have nothing else better to do with their time but to quote unquote run Diane out of town?
Oh, me? My start first?
Okay. Yeah, we'll start with you first.
Okay. I would say this is, I'm absolutely loving Diane, and I've said it time and time. I just said in my last review, I believe she is the only woman worthy in Genoa City to really be the next Mrs. Jack Abbott and be lady of the manor of the Abbott estate. Even though all the crazy stuff she's done, because she just has a maturity. But when I look at Phyllis, Ashley, and Nikki, they've got nothing to do. Like I said, Nikki is Victor's shadow. That's what she exists for. She props up Victor. And then you got Ashley, she's got Tucker McCall after her, which I totally forgot that they were even involved back in the day. I totally forgot all about that. And then you got Phyllis, who was always the mistress, but never the missus. Even though she's been married before, Phyllis doesn't have the convictions of a wife. It's just not her. That's just not
at all.
She doesn't have the convictions of a wife, because look at the way she's acting like this childish. This is exactly why Zach just can't mess with her. I mean, let's even forget the fact that she slept with Billy at one point in time when she was like engaged to Jack. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like Phyllis just never learns, and this is why I feel like every man she's been with has never taken her seriously. From Daniel Romalotti Sr. to Brian Hamilton to Nick to Jack and God, who else? Ronan Malloy. You know what I'm saying? All these men that she's been with, and it's never worked out. And Phyllis is another one of those where I feel like she's never had a true love of her life, because a lot of times with Phyllis, I can't take her seriously half the time. You know what I'm saying? Like you gave up a whole conglomerate hotel business that you owned just to go get back at Diane to go work for your daughter. Like, let's make it make sense in my mind. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Who does that?
Phyllis. It's stupid. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that too, because I totally agree. I don't think no man takes Phyllis serious, because every dude she get with, even her and Nick, it's like the last time they got together, Nick made it clear. He brought up marriage, but then he made it clear. He was like, nah, we shouldn't be getting married again. I said, thank you, because it would have just been another divorce. They're not compatible in any way. I'm like, and I'm glad during their relationship she brought it up. Like all they are is sex and video games. I'm like, that's all they are. That's it. I'm like, I'm glad it was brought up. I said that's the best thing the writers wrote. I said because I think they've been reading message boards and they've been seeing what people been saying, and it's the truth. I never saw marriage between them. It was just sex. That's it. I'm like, with Phyllis, even recently, I just see her as a very sad person, because you're sitting here actively trying to run Diane out of town. And then when she sees Sally sitting at the bar, instead of having some class, you walk over and you gloat about her situation and what she got going on at Newman Media and the fact that she's out and all this. I love the way Sally handled it. Sally ain't even engaged with her. She just got up and she was like, you know what? I'm gonna do what you can't do. I'm gonna have the class that you don't have, and I'm gonna walk away. I love how Sally handled that, because that's how you handle a person like Phyllis. You know what I'm saying? You outclass them because she ain't got no class to begin with. This mean girl shit that the three of them are trying to do, it just makes them look pathetic. I'm like, you got three. Well, let me rephrase that. You got two wealthy women, and you got two wealthy women and Phyllis sitting there plotting. And it's like, Phyllis, you are working class. You're not in their league. You're working class. So how you got time to sit here and do all this? I'm like, that little money that Chancellor paid you for that hotel will dry up at some point. You don't have long money like that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got that. So you still got to work for a living. So I'm pretty sure Lily didn't pay much for that hotel. And she still got to pay Nick back, because she was still on a payment plan to pay Nick back.
I was going to mention that.
Exactly. So you did not pay him back all that money in full. She was monthly, making monthly payments. So
she paid Nick back in other ways.
Exactly. Exactly. So a big chunk of that money that you just made, a lot of it is going to taxes. Is going to taxes. Some of it is going to Nick, and you get whatever's left over. So you gave up a whole ownership of a business to go work for your daughter for a company that she doesn't herself own or run. So if you get into it with Diane and Kyle get fed up with your shit, he can fire you and your daughter if he wanted to. So you are once again left out in the cold with nothing, while Diane is still going to be sipping on champagne. She's still going to be sitting, living her life, because Diane is that chick that always bounce back. No matter how much they try to put her down, Diane gonna come back.
I agree.
Like, Phyllis keeps trying to say, "Oh, I'm a phoenix. I rise from the ashes." No, you are the ash. That's all you are. You ain't the phoenix. You just the ash. That's it. And you're not gonna rise. You just and the thing about Phyllis too is the fact that she went to Amanda and said, "Am I a horrible person?" The fact that you have to ask that question, you are. You know the answer.
Yeah.
You know the answer because you ain't got to ask those questions. And you just want somebody. She hoping that somebody tell her, "No, you're not horrible. You're not." That's what she hoping for. Just to, keep going with it. That's all it is with Phyllis, man. I'm over the three of them.
Now, going into Y&R, okay, we'll start with you, DC. What do you think of the whole Abby and Devon stuff that's going on with that? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I thought it was, and I said this before, it was so interesting that Amanda came back from out of town from seeing her dying mother to come get cheated on. Well, she said the chance, come on, come surprise me. The fact that this was Devon's second time, and I know they're doing this to usher Michelle Morgan into recurring. This is like her entrance into recurring status on the show. But I mean, honestly, I saw this coming from the get-go because when Devon was trying to get custody of Dominic, Chance did not even put up a fight. Chance and Abby were just pretty much like, here you go.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. They put up no fight. And I knew I saw this coming. And this is what I think is going to happen. Eventually, they're going to ice Chance out completely. And it'll be, I can already see happening years from now. It's as if he didn't exist. I was shocked to even hear Abby even mention Brad's name this week because she'd act like that man wasn't the one who raised her. It wasn't Victor. I think with the first, all the way up to her teenage years, it was pretty much Brad who raised her, was not Victor. So, but see, once Victor came in, I guess she got some of that Newman money and was paying her bills. She forgot all about Brad Carlton.
And that's the funny thing. Brad left her money.
Exactly. He did. Even after that whole reliquary crap stuff they had back in the day.
People forget Abby got three trust funds.
Abbott, Carlton's, and the Newmans. And
she already got access to both.
Right, exactly. So the way I see it right now is they're going to ice Chance out pretty soon. And they're going to and I got a feeling that Abby will end up pregnant with another miracle baby. I'm counting down the times. That's what I got to say on that.
Honestly, that whole shit was a mess. I will give Michelle Morgan her flowers, though, because she killed that scene with Devon when she confronted him. And I love that they're writing her as the strong black woman as she is and not some weepy ass woman. Of course she's going to cry about it when she by herself. But what I love was she didn't let Devon see her cry. You know what I'm saying? She didn't sit there crying in front of him like that. You know what I'm saying? She was strong in front of him. And she waited till he walked out the door to let it out. I feel that. I'm like, don't let him see you sweat at the end of the day because Amanda got it going on. Like, what man ain't gonna want that? You know what I'm saying? You smart, you're a top lawyer. You know what I mean? You look good as hell, classy. Who ain't gonna want you? You know what I mean? She's loyal. I feel like Devon dropped the ball with her, like he did. But I love how she broke it down to him that him and Abby were always destined to be together. Because I always felt that chemistry between Devon and Abby from some years ago. I remember when he went to her, I think, at one point to invest in his record label. And I think it was right around the time where he was about to find out Tucker was his father. And he wanted her to invest. I felt the chemistry then. And I thought they were going to hook up at some point. I didn't know it was going to take all these years, but I knew they were going to hook up. Abby could cry all she want, but she know deep down what Chance is saying is true. And I could tell even when she was bitching and complaining to him about Tucker being back in town. The way Chance was with that, he was very nonchalant about Tucker. About the whole thing, I don't want Dominic around Tucker. Chance didn't give a damn. Chance was like, you overreacting because she is. I mean, at the end of the day, what is Tucker going to do to the boy that Victor wouldn't do? So Victor is allowed to be around Dominic, but Tucker isn't. After everything Victor done did?
Right.
Come on now. So I don't feel bad for Devon. I don't feel bad for Abby. I don't feel bad for them. I feel bad for the people that got hurt by it because you're mad at Chance for doing what he loves doing, which is his job. I mean, the man stopped off to get a cup of coffee and you bitching. How you know he wasn't on his way home? You know, he just stopped off to get a cup of coffee. Why weren't you home? This is why he don't want to come home. Who wants to come home to that? Why aren't you home? All you're gonna do when he get home is nag. I would have stayed out too. I would have called you on the phone and said, "Yeah, I got another steak out. It's gonna be all night." And I'll be somewhere at a hotel sipping champagne somewhere. I ain't coming home to that. All she do is nag the man. I felt like she didn't really want to be married to him anyway.
No, you're right. You're right. And especially there was one scene in the morning. I think they were talking about Tucker and Dominic and everything like that. And that's when he was like, you're kind of overreacting, whatever. He decided to leave because apparently he had work a little bit later on. He was like, yeah, I got to go to work. I was like, bro, you just messed up this man's breakfast. Okay. Certain things, for me, you don't mess with it. And food is definitely one of them. When you mess up somebody's breakfast in the morning, it just, no, I'm not feeling that.
But my issue with Amanda's return is, and I already know what she's going to say, but I got to say it. Why did she have to go after Nate? Like, she wasn't even around for the Kool-Aid, where the Kool-Aid was being made.
No, you're right about that. You're that I will 100% agree with you on. You know how I feel about Nate.
She wasn't there when the Kool-Aid was being made. She wasn't even there when the Kool-Aid was being made. Just barged on Nate. Oh, how could you do this to Devon? You weren't even there. What's going on?
You wasn't there for none of that shit. I want to ask y'all, like what y'all think about that though? About the whole Newman Media saga and Victoria, hiring Nate, thinking that he's more experienced than Sally. Like, what y'all thought about that?
You want to go first? You want me to go first? I'll go first.
Okay, you go first. Okay, I'll go.
I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, I haven't been watching the show as long as other people, and a lot of people was telling me that Victoria fired Sally because of Summer. I think that had a lot to do with her decision. But there was one point where, I guess Nate was being shown around in the office, and Victoria came in there and she was like, "Yo, what are you still doing there?" Like, she's like, "Oh well, Nick, told me I could sit there and take my time." I was like, "Bro, like." Even I was surprised, like, "Yo, what are you doing there?" It was just weird. What about you, DC?
I remember I was talking about that, Albert, a few days ago, where Victoria had that look on her face when she saw Sal, like, "Sis, you're still here. Get out." Like, why are you still here? When she said, "Do you even have security help you out?" Translation is, "Get the hell out. You got like 5 minutes." And Nate was very understanding. And my whole thoughts on the Newman Media saga, I got to be honest, and I've said this time and time again. I'm actually Team Nate on this. I'm gonna say why I'm Team Nate. I think I'm like the 1%. Because let me just say this. Nate was wrong for what he did. I'll just put out there for everybody who's listening. Nate was wrong for what he did to Devon Lee. Billy, I'm not saying he wasn't. But I guess for me, it's not so much, I guess, them I had the issue with. It's Elaine I had the issue with during the storyline. Because I feel like this man already sacrificed his medical career for you because he got into the fist fight with Devon, so he couldn't use his hands anymore to be a surgeon, whatever it was.
You thought that a fist fight?
Yeah, they had some kind of a fight, and that's how he couldn't use his hands anymore.
No, I know what you mean, but that shit wasn't no fist fight. That was a one-hitter quitter.
Okay, it was one hit. Okay, Devon got him. Devon got him. And, my whole thing is like, he lost one career. And when you showed up to Newman Media, it was like, Nate, I just have to tell the truth. And, like, you forced him to tell the truth then. And I'm not saying she wasn't doing the right thing, but I felt like she should have told 10 toes down for her, man. She should have sat there and I feel like she should have had his back. Because my whole thing is, you were already not involved. You weren't in the process. And I feel like Nate, this is the thing. I feel like Nate is still a good person. There's a vulnerability in him that isn't present. Because the thing is about Weinar, everybody is a have, but we haven't had a have not in a minute. You know, besides I guess Sally Spectra, but she's been messing up every opportunity she's had since Force Creations, Fenmore's, and all the places we worked at. So I really don't feel that bad for Sally Moore at this point, because at some point you gotta take a look in the mirror and ask yourself what's going on. But with Nate, I feel like okay, all he knew was medicine. All he knew was medicine. And so even when Elena came back this week, I was like, why are you here? Like, where's Imani at? Can we get Imani to come in, please? Take you, please.
Damn, where is she at?
She hasn't been on in a minute. I don't know what's going on. They haven't brought her on in so long. But I would prefer Imani with Nate at this point because, you know, and I'm honestly, I'm here for him and Victoria. I want to see where this goes. The only problem is Victoria's a Newman and she's very vindictive. And I feel like she's going to chew him up and spit him out quicker than this whole thing even started, because the way she did that to Sally, like she merged it there, like, sis, you're still here? And Sally was all, well, Nick said I could have more time to, you know, pack my stuff. And Victoria gave her that look like, Nick doesn't run the show, I do. And Nick is never going to go against Victoria. He's never going to go against her. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on that. What do you guys
how do we get to it was Elena's fault that Nate lost his career? I want you to explain to me how a grown ass man is going to choose to decide to get into a fist fight with somebody and knowing that he's just explain that to me.
Because
indirectly. Go ahead, Brock. Go ahead. I think Brock's gonna have
No, you go ahead. You can say.
All right, indirectly is her fault, because not directly, but indirectly, because both reasons he lost both careers was because of Atlanta. Okay, granted, okay, we can say it's debatable for Chance to win winners. Even the Brock is gonna be like, well, that looked like, huh? What you mean, DC? But here's the thing, okay, for Chancellor winners is debatable, but for his medical career, he definitely lost that because of her. You know, because that whole argument that him and Devon had was over Elena, you know, and he sacrificed his family because of that. So I just felt like in that moment, even though what he was doing was kind of crazy, I would have liked to just see a little support from her. But she was coming in all, you know, weak and wimpy, and all, you know, look, I don't even recognize you anymore, you know. And I just feel like Imani could have handled a real man like that. Imani could have held him down. And I was hoping that's what we were going to see, but we didn't get the chance to see that. So that was my take. That's how I feel. It's so indirectly, not directly, but indirectly.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and you know what? People could say, "Oh, this sounds sexist or whatever." Let me tell you something. I'm not saying this to be sexist. I'm just speaking my truth on this.
Yeah, speak your truth.
I agree with DC that a lot of this was on Elena. Don't get me wrong. Nate's a grown man. You know, he did what he did. He wasn't under the influence. He wasn't under no voodoo. You know, he willingly. You know, he willingly did what he had to do with her, but I fought her a lot for this too, because at the end of the day, her loyalty, both of their loyalties should have been to Devon. One as his cousin, two as his woman. Let me rephrase that, because some people gonna be like, huh? You know, Nate has some loyalty to him because they family and they've known each other a long time. Elena has some loyalty to him because that was her man. You know what I'm saying? And if you have an issue with your man, you should have went to your man and explained the issue.
Not to work.
Huh?
No, I was gonna say, not like you said, she had an issue with her man. She's gone to his man, to her man, and not to his place of work.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
My thing is that's also on her, because she, you know, you bouncing on peen that don't, you know, that's not yours. You should have, you know, you wanted some, you should have went to your man, but like, I want some or whatever. Why you got to sleep with the next person when you got, you know, in-house dick? I don't understand that. So that was on you at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think both are at fault. Both are at fault for the same reason, but it's more so on her too. As far as the Victoria shit though, I can understand Victoria being ruthless in business. I have no issue with that, because she's a woman in a male-dominated world. She got to be 5-10 times more ruthless than a man. You know, I feel like she got to handle business like a man would, in order to be taken serious in the business community. I feel like she don't need to be as cruel to Sally. because Sally definitely, in my opinion, has more experience running a business than Nate. She's been in the business world. I think her company could have been successful in B&B if it wasn't for Dollar Bill. He ruined her at every chance he got, at every turn. And I feel like she could have been successful if it wasn't for his interference. But she has more experience, though. She knows the corporate life. I feel like Nate has no idea about the corporate life. When he was with Chancellor Winters, do I think his ideas were good? I do. I think they were good. I think he had a good idea about the festivals, about, Chancellor Winters doing their own festivals. I thought that was wise. But I felt like I had to agree with Devon on that because I felt, okay, for one, it's a money thing because that's gonna be more money on y'all. Because when you're going to somebody's festival or you got artists performing at a festival, it's really no money out of your pocket like that compared to, putting on a festival yourself. That's you incur all the expenses. So I understood where Devon was coming from with that. Also, now was not the right time to do a festival because of the climate, the business, the music world right now. Plus, you are getting more exposure from established festivals. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with festivals that have been out there for a long time. That's been, they put them, how people put on festivals annually? You get more out of that. You know what I'm saying? Compared to you putting on your own, fresh out the gate. You put out a festival fresh out the gate, you're not going to make as much, noise for your artists as you would an established. So that's why I feel like Nate wasn't trying to hear what Devon was saying on that. He just thought, oh, you holding grudges against me. That's the problem right there. You're hearing what you want to hear. You're not hearing the sound business advice he's giving. He's teaching you. You know what I'm saying? Nate doesn't even understand. He was being taught business and he didn't even realize it. He just took it personal. And that's the problem. That goes to show you're not ready to be in that world because you're taking everything personal when it's just business, So I feel like Victoria, she could be cruel in business and stuff like that. But I feel like hiring Nate, I feel like there's a reason for that. And I feel like she's going to use Nate. And I feel like Nate, again, is too stupid to see it. Like you're being used. If you think you're going to be better off working for a Newman than Devon and Lily, you're bugging out. Right. You're bugging out. If you think Devon and Lily or Devon was as bad and he really wasn't, wait till you get a load of the fucking Newmans. Because look at all the years Neil spent with the Newmans. And Victor made it abundantly clear to Neil. I don't give a damn how good you are at this job, how loyal you are. You will never sit in the top seat at my company. He made that very clear to him. You will never sit at the top. Only person that's going to sit at the top of a Newman company is a Newman. That's it. So Nate thinking that, I struck gold working for Victoria. Please, Victoria going to chew that ass up. As soon as he get out of pocket one time with her, she going to smack him back down to reality and let him know, I run this. You do what I say. You know what I'm saying? So let him keep thinking that he struck gold with her. He going to learn real soon. The grass ain't always greener on the other side. It's not. You had a good deal at Chancellor Winters. You had a board seat. You got more there than you will have at Newman. And that's just facts. I don't see Victoria giving him no leg up. Like, she already made it clear to Sally, you're replaceable. She will make it clear to Nate, you're replaceable too.
I agree with that. I agree.
100%. I literally couldn't say it any better.
So he'll learn.
I feel like into looking at it, when it comes to like, because this is my biggest thing that I look at on soaps is even just in life, you always gotta look at how they treated the last person. So look at how Victoria just treated Sally and telling her that she's got to go, she's got to get out of here. And it made me even think of what is it, Chelsea and Sally and them vying for Adam's affection, because I felt like when I was looking at that storyline, Sally came in thinking that she was the baddest boosh in all of Genoa City, and that Adam was gonna have her back, this and that, and it's gonna be different than how he was with Chelsea. But I'm just like, if Chelsea was his ex-wife, granted she'd try to kill him. I get it, understandable, But if she was his ex-wife and the mother of his child, and he's treating her like trash, like what portion do you think you'll get down the line? You know what I'm saying? What portion do you think you'll get down the line? So go ahead.
No, I agree with what you're saying. I definitely do. I like Sally's confidence. You know, one thing I will say about Sally, she's confident than a motherfucker. I give her that, even when she's not down. Huh?
But she keeps losing jobs.
No, she keeps losing. But you know what? That's life. You know what I'm saying? We all get knocked the hell down. We all get knocked down. I've been feeling like that for the last couple years. We all get knocked down, but you know what? We're still here. You know what I mean? We still go. We still do what we got to do. You know, we didn't let nothing beat us. We still here. You know, and Sally is that go-getter. You know what I mean? She's been knocked down by everybody since popping into LA, since popping into Genoa City, especially Genoa City. You know, Lauren, everybody done knocked her down. Jack, everybody. She done left so many companies, but she's still standing. Even when she was at Newman Media packing up her office, she didn't seem all that sad about it. She was laughing, you know. At the end of the day, because Sally gonna be good. She gonna find her footing somewhere. You know what I mean? I think a miracle is gonna come her way where she might get some type of investor or something like that. And she might just start her own shit. I think that might be the next thing for her in business. Starting up, you know, her own company again. I think she should.
Let me ask this, guys. Like, speaking of that, like, what did you guys think of? Because this is the most unique storyline that YNR has done the past 2 weeks. Was the Chelsea storyline. So I want to start with Albert. Like, Albert, what did you think about that? Was the Chelsea storyline that we had?
I've been loving it. I've been loving it so far. It's one of those things where it's like when I even just look at YNR as a whole, like last week and everything like that, I was like thoroughly impressed. I was like, yo, y'all keeping my attention. Like, I'm not even looking at my phone at this point. You know, like I'm not. I've been loving it. So, but you know, we talked about this before as far as, you know, oh, remember you were saying at this end, oh, I wanted Chelsea to like jump. I mean, she could have landed on something, you know, kind of hurt herself. And I was like, DC, did you see how far the ground was from all the way up there? But I get what you were basically saying. Like you wanted them to be bold and do something, you know, even if it's like kill her off or whatever, you know, yeah, like yeah. But I've been enjoying it so far. What about you, Brock?
I think YNR, I think they did a good job with the story as far as like the suicide attempt and stuff like that. I think they did a really good job with that. You know what I'm saying? Everything was just against Chelsea. Like everything was just backing her into a corner. But I will say this, and I have to be honest. I feel like she was backed into a corner, but I feel like it was of her own doing. The whole Johnny situation, I felt she could have handled that better with more tact. Every something to her, she would get fed. I'm tired of her bringing up Ray every 5 minutes. Like, oh, everything went downhill when Ray died. You and Ray barely knew each other. You tried to kill that man. You tried to kill that man and Ray. Man, nope.
Brock, you're breaking up on us.
Ray every 5 has some great friendship and their great romance that was never going to happen. Like, I felt like they did a good job, but I just felt like this was all Chelsea's doing. That's how I feel about it.
I would say, looking at the storyline YNR, I think I was happy they did something like this because we haven't seen a storyline like this on YNR or any soap for so long. And I liked it because, like I said, like YNR, the issue with YNR is everybody's a have, nobody's a have not. Like, we have yet to see anybody like actually have to go through some trial and tribulation. I feel for a lot of people depressed, they were probably able to really relate to that. And when I had told Albert, you know, like, I want to explain for context for anybody new coming down, Brock and Z. When I said I wanted Chelsea to jump, I want her to land on something, though. I want her to jump, but I wanted her. Is Brock still with us?
Yeah, I see the little swirl. There we go.
So when I said I wanted Chelsea to jump, I wanted her to land on something. but just because when she said, "Tell Connor I slipped," I was like, "Oh snap!" Like when they did that, I kind of jumped. I was like, "Oh snap, they're about to do it," because the impact of it. Because granted, you're right. Some of the things like her trying to kill Adam, which is one of the reasons why you don't mess with her to this day. But I feel like she had been pushed so much to limit because Chelsea one of those characters where she doesn't have nobody no more. The only friend that she had was Chloe the Clown. That's what I call her, Chloe the Clown. How are you going to work for somebody that killed your daughter? I just don't understand that relationship, Brock. I don't get it.
If anybody killed her child, she need to go look at Billy Abbott. Ain't nobody got time for that. I get so tired of hearing that same song and dance out of her ass every 5 minutes. I'm like, why so much hate for Adam? But your dumb ass baby daddy left her in a car at night with a dog. Who the fuck? I'm glad Victor shouted at his ass and told him about himself because it was the truth. You know, Victoria at the time tried to stand up for Billy. I'm like, no, you need to be honest. His dumb ass left a little child in a car by themselves at night. Who does that with some common sense? Obviously, right. Common sense wasn't so fucking common with him that night. Because who does that? So Chloe, I just, that's another one. I feel like that character, they ain't got nothing better for her to do.
They really
but
don't.
To spit venom, and now she out of a job, and we hardly see her now. My thing was you was a piss poor COO anyway, because all you did was run around telling Sally, stay away from Adam, stay away. So this is what you get paid to do, tell people to stay away from Adam? That's your job as COO? Why, how about you go get a fucking data analysis and handle reports and do what a COO does, go to some meetings instead of worrying about Adam every 5 minutes. Go do that. And last time I checked, Adam gave your little ass a job when nobody else was willing. Like your own sister-in-law wasn't even offering you a job, but he did. And you still spitting venom?
And see, that's what I understand, because like with Chloe, like, how are you going to tell Sally to stay away from Adam at his own when you're working at his family's business? Like, let's talk about it. You know, let's talk about it. I got someone to tell someone at their own family business. And see, and that's my thing. She wasn't a friend to Chelsea. We saw like she wasn't even a friend to Chelsea. So it's like I could see how Chelsea started to unwind at that point. And I knew, honestly, here's the thing. And I said this before in a previous live, where it's like, you know when they put a viewer discretion at the beginning of the episode is going to be good. You know, I think the last time they did that on the soap was during the Todd and Marty trial. You know, the Todd and Marty, attack scene, whatever, in the KD fraternity thing on One Life to Live. And honestly, I thought when Chelsea was in the bathroom looking in the mirror, I thought she was going to take a bunch of pills or something, and then that somebody was going to find her. That's what I thought initially it was going to be, until then she went on the ledge. I was like, okay, now I see like where this is going. And I can understand why, too, at this point, that Billy did not say anything to Adam, because Adam really doesn't give a crap about Chelsea. He really does not. It's so obvious. Because every time when she says she's going through something, he'll be like, okay, is that going to affect Connor? And it's like, well, damn. like, damn. Because I never had a co-parent, a child with somebody, but you would want to think that person hopefully wants the best for you just as an individual, instead of like, okay, well, how's it going to affect our child? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't give a damn about her. So when she started to unravel, because she really has nobody in Genoa City, not even, what is it? Was it Jeffrey Bardwell was her father, or was it Jeffrey Bardwell's brother?
That little con artist. That being, every time he pop up in town, is just for a check.
So I get why she got to that point. And honestly, I thought the storyline was very, because she's another have-not in Genoa City. She's kind of like another, like Phyllis in a way, but I feel like she doesn't do stupid stuff like Phyllis does. She really generally does it because she's hurt. But Phyllis would just go stupid stuff because Phyllis got too much time in her hands. That's the problem, So
I'm confused by that. How you got so much time in your hand, but you broke? Like, she trying to get a check. Like, Phyllis ain't broke, but it's like you spend time doing a whole bunch of nothing, like you got Newman money or something like that. Those people ain't got to do shit if they don't want to do it. I'm like, right. You still got to pay. You still got your bills to pay. Like, ain't you living out that hotel? And that's another thing I hate. I'm like, listen, we need to up the budget, because I'm not saying everybody need a damn home, but Phyllis, some of these people they need to home because this hotel business. No. Why is everybody living out of a hotel? Get a home.
Everybody lives in the Grand Phoenix.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I'm like, show the GCAC. Like, I miss that club.
They haven't shown that in a minute. Yeah, I think they did show it when Tucker, because Tucker, I think, is thinking of the GCAC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tucker bugging.
You know, it reminds me of on Guiding Light when everybody stayed at the Beacon the last 2 years of the show. Like, everybody was in the Beacon. Like, nobody had a house anymore.
Oh yeah, they knew what time it was. They said, listen, we canceling this damn show. We don't need these sets. They say, you know what?
Show, you know, there's a problem with the budget.
They say, you know what? Get rid of the Spalding Mansion. Get rid of this. We could just have everybody living in the damn hotel because we about to go. But yeah, some of these people, they just, and it's funny that you mentioned the have-nots because financially, I'm just like, where the broke people at? Hold on 1 second.
Because, you know, I feel like when I was looking at it too, it was just kind of like, I'll wait till Rock comes out, but I was going to say, looking at it too, it's like, I feel like when I'm coming to looking at the show, like having those characters that we can connect to, because I get what Rock is saying, we haven't had a have-not character. Because I remember, I think it was Jean Passanti when she started writing for YNR back in like 2014. She said that was what the problem with the show is, that everybody's stinking rich, and that's not real life for everybody. But go ahead, Rock. Go ahead.
No, it's not. It ain't real life for a lot of damn people. I'm like, people, you know, y'all need to implement some food stamps up here. Y'all need to implement some welfare. Because I'm like, shit, look at Tessa and Mariah ass. I'm like, y'all sitting over here got money and shit. I'm like, where y'all money coming from? And then they sitting there talking about, oh, because she doing tours and her ass ain't sung in months, so the money must have ran out by now. And I'm like, Mariah, you working at Jabot? I'm like, I think she in charge of marketing too. Ain't she in charge of the marketing department? So I'm like, now you over here making probably like $100,000 a year. I said, this shit ain't real life. Like, you ain't got no marketing experience whatsoever, but you the head of it. I'm like, no, we need some poor people up here. Like,
but I liked it when they had was it GC Buzz?
Yeah, they had that, and I think they had Wrestle Style.
Wrestle Style, yeah.
The shit magazine. Billy used that magazine as a tabloid rag. All he did was use it as tabloid to go after everybody he didn't like. And I just feel like they need some poor. Billy, out of all people, I feel like Billy should be poor. Because I don't understand how he got money. Because I'm like, first of all your gambling debts, how you still got all this money? I'm like, because you ain't even have money to pay all your gambling debts. I'm like, your mama paid most of them. And I know Jill got sick and tired of coming out of her pocket. And I'm just like, how you still got money? I'm like, then on top of that, you mad because Jack want Adam as co-CEO of Jabot. I'm like, why the fuck do you care? If I was the board, I wouldn't want Billy near Jabot with a 10-foot pole. Right. I'm like, you basically embezzled money from the company. If I was Jack, I would write Billy a huge check. If I was Jack. And I mean this. If I was Jack, I would write out a big check to buy out his Jabot stock, to buy out his ownership in the mansion, because I do believe all the kids got ownership in the house. I would just buy Billy out completely. And just be like, listen, this is a big ass check for you. Millions of dollars. Spend it wisely, because this is all you're going to get from the Abbott estate. Because Billy, I just feel like he's a fuck up. Like at 40 years old, you still trying to find yourself. Don't get me wrong. It take people a long time to figure out they shit. It do. I ain't gonna lie and say it don't, because it do. But my thing is, you got motherfuckers out here throwing you a job. We got to be out here slaving for a job. And you get them thrown, even though it's TV, but still, you get people throwing you shit. Executive positions, and you're a fuck up. You're a gambler. And you still getting job offers? I said, that ain't real. That's just not real life to me. I'm like, even though it's a show, it's like, all right, let's make this a little realistic now. I said, because we need some poor folk up here. Like, we need... when I say poor folk, I mean some James Evans, Good Times, living green type of poor. I mean that kind of poor, like you just hand to mouth.
But when was the last time a soap had that though? Can you think? Can we even recall that?
Like, yeah, back in the 80s.
Okay, yeah, the 80s, yeah.
Like some people, I ain't gonna lie, some people that's new to the show, like even on GH, you got Dex. You know what I'm saying? He came on the show, but he got an apartment set, and that never sat right with me. Because I said, first of all, how you knew? Like you fresh off the boat, and you got an apartment here.
He got his own set.
But it's motherfuckers that's been on this show for 10 and 15 years, living out of the Metro Court, still paying an exuberant amount of money, just to live out of a hotel. And they like Finn just got his own place.
Speaking of Anna, that house is way too big for Anna. Can we just talk about that? That house is way too big for her. I'm sorry.
I just want to know how Anna can afford that. Like, what are her mortgage payments looking like?
She's living in Adam Sandler's mansion. I remember that set very well.
Yeah. I felt like that house set is very similar to the Demira house set, the old Demira house set.
Yeah, it is. It is very, very similar.
Very similar. I want somebody to have like the Buchanan house set though. I want somebody to recreate that. I always did like that damn house.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta say.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I gotta sit there and read one of the comments because Jessica was like, "Yeah, Maxie's still living in an apartment, and Britt is living in a hotel. Like, what the f?"
That shit's stupid. Chief of staff, she need to have a nice ass condo.
Yeah, everyone's living in the court right now.
I mean, she knocking on death's door, but she still need a home.
Jesus.
Have you guys noticed that Liz's parents are living in Portia's old house? Did anybody peep that?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. I remember that.
That should look nice too.
Wait, what do you guys think of the storyline though? By the way, with the Liz, we didn't even talk about that. That's one storyline we didn't talk about with GH was the Liz storyline with the parents. What do you guys think about that?
Listen, I would have fucked them up because first of all, where the fuck y'all bitches been the last 30 years? And my thing was, the mama want to sit here and come try to give a hug. I would have told her back the fuck up. How you gonna come out? And I love how Liz didn't even attempt to hug her. And I'm like, why would you? She been like a stranger to you most of your life. Like, the chick ain't been around for the birth of your children, miscarriages, your house burning down, your husband dying. They ain't been there not one time. And the excuse that they came up with was so flimsy. Oh, because we had to stay away because of an accident that happened years ago. That was so corny to me. I was like, no, there ain't no good ass reason to be no deadbeat parent. And that is not a good reason. So you stayed away, and I ain't like it because I'm like, first of all, let's put this into perspective as to why they stayed away. You stayed away because your husband couldn't keep it in his pants, basically. That's why you stayed away. Because your husband has a sex addiction. I feel like Jeff Weber has a sex. I feel like he does. And it's clear that he don't like just having sex with his wife. That's obvious. And she just sit there like a doormat putting up with it. I don't know too many people that would. I like the storyline though so far. Like I think it's decent. My only issue with the storyline, they're making it about Finn when it should be about Liz. Because they're making it about his feelings and how he feels, and it's about his wife. This type of storyline is about the fact that her parents have been away from her for all these years, and you're making it about a man. Even her rape storyline, like when her rapist came back, they made that about Franco. And I didn't like it. Like, this is about her. Let it be about her. You know, this is a chick that's been on the show 25 plus years. Why is y'all making every major event in her life about a dude when it happened to her? Yeah. That's what I don't understand. But I like it overall. I just wish it was more about her.
Albert, what about you? What do you think?
I honestly tell you the truth, like he pretty much kind of hit every point that I was saying. Now, I mean, granted, because now I'm kind of torn because on one hand, yeah, it definitely should have been about Liz, the woman has been on the show for 20 something years, and you hijack her story. In the beginning, it was either giving me ghost vibes, it was giving me DID vibes, and then you're just like, all right, we're gonna do this. And it's like, all right, fine. And it took a while to even get there, but then you're gonna attach a defense storyline. Now, I will sit there and say on the other hand, it makes sense as far as them getting into that fight, her fall down the stairs, her contracting that virus and stuff like that. It gives a little more backstory than, oh, she just died of a virus or whatever. Okay, well, how did it happen? Yeah, it could have been 1,000 different ways, but it's interesting to sit there and find out how it happened to her. But I mean, like I said, I'm not even going to sit there and too much reiterate what Brock said, but her parents are trash. Okay, we know that for a while that her parents are trash. It was just, what was exciting was seeing Liz go off on them and pretty much reminding them, in case people forgot, why they're trash.
Nope, they make trash. Trash is better than them. They make trash look good.
I will say this, looking at this storyline with Liz, it kind of, for one, reminded me of Harley Cooper on Guiding Light, because I feel like they're just so parallel, Liz and Harley. But also, I feel like with the storyline, I was hoping it was going to go the DID route, but I figure in 2022, I don't know if they can handle the spiciness of how One Life to Live did it back in the 90s. I don't know. But
I feel like they did that, though. I feel like they did that already, though.
Yeah, they did do with Connie. So I that was one of the things that made me think to myself that maybe they wouldn't do it again. I was also hoping, though, with this storyline, though, with Liz, was that, Heather Weber, like, jumped off the van, that she was going to pop on by the Webers. I mean, that's her ex-husband's house. They have Steve and Lars Weber together. That was a perfect opportunity. And I felt like the writers missed that chance to do that. Now, I have a theory that's been popping up on my mind about what will be the conclusion of the storyline of Finn and Reiko and Liz. And this is my whole thing. And hear me out. I don't think anyone's put this theory out there, but this has been in my head recently, because I've been saying this on Albert's Lives for a while, and this is why now I'm connecting the dots. Reiko was a grown woman who was Finn's wife. And what was it? Liz was like, in middle high school at the time, which means Finn was a grown-ass man, right? As old as her father, right? So,
I think they said Liz was like 15.
Right. And I think it was like Finn was just a grown man at that point. So this is my whole thing. We know that Jeff Weber was having an affair with Reiko, but we don't know for how long. So in my mind, I'm thinking maybe Reiko is Liz's mom. I don't know. It's a wild theory. And I get it. Because maybe, listen, hear me out here when I say this. Hear me out when I say this, okay? Because on B&B, we know that, Finn's dad, Finn on B&B, his dad, Sheila was his mom, but his dad took him over from Sheila and, had his wife raise him and et cetera, as their own, all that stuff. So I'm wondering, what if Liz's dad didn't do the same thing on GH? Where Reiko had the child, and for whatever reason, maybe because him and his wife, they have more money, they're more established as doctors, and they raised Elizabeth together, and that would explain why he had his distance from Elizabeth when Elizabeth killed Reiko, all this other stuff. So it's just a theory in my head. What do you guys think about that? You think it's a possibility? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
That'd be some sick shit. That would just be borderline. You would have to have. I don't know. I feel like in a weird way, you would have to be a very creative person to come up with that. And on the other hand, you have to be a very sick individual to come up with that. Like, you have to be sick in the mind to come think of it. Because I'm like, that's a lot of connection. I'm like, you're dating your biological mother's husband. That would be insane. That's too big of a connection. Don't get me wrong, it's not out the rim though. It's not, I wouldn't say it's as wild as what they've done over the years. But
she's already dating
up there though.
Dad, think about it. Because Finn and Hayden were together, so she's already dating like her sister's, baby daddy. So
well, I can see that a little bit as far as, Alexis is dating Finn, and now Alexis is not there dating his father. So that's a little all disgusting in itself. So I mean, that's kind of a stretch there, DC. But I can see them doing some weird stuff like that. I can see that. It's kind of a headache to think about, but I can see that though.
Okay, I gotta address this comment in the chat. Someone said, "Sorry, DC, Reiko is not Liz's mom," and then Lisa says, "Then Finn could be Elizabeth's father." Lisa, let me tell you this: this is not Passions. This is GH.
Passions.
Finn is not Elizabeth's father. I promise you. This is the Passions, guys.
Nah, over there in Passion, they'd be over there doing black magic.
This isn't Passions, Lisa. I
But I have
promise.
to ask
This is
y'all,
Passions.
honestly, with everything going on, I have to ask, like, what did y'all think about the craziness that's going on at Windermere right now? Like with Nicholas and Miss Esme. Like, what y'all thought about those scenes? I thought they was dope. Honestly.
I'm gonna go first. The fact that she Rapunzeled her way down down the castle and everything like that. I'm not gonna. It's enjoyable. It's weird because in the beginning I didn't like Esme, but like when she came back, it was like, damn, this chick was needed. Like she was needed. And then there's so many people sitting there saying that she's not pregnant. I don't think that she's pregnant. It's like, yo, did no one not see her belly? I mean, let's just forget the fact that Esme is more pregnant than Willow is. Okay, we're just gonna move past that because that would be logic and that would make sense. And we don't do that in GH. But this whole thing is just a mess. But I am generally loving it. And you know what? I'm going to sit there and say this before I pass this off to DC, because somebody said this in the comment section in my video. And at first I was kind of vexed by it, but I was like, you know what? So I was sitting there bragging for a hot minute. It was like, oh, I knew it was Esme. I knew Esme did it, this, that, and the third. And somebody who was in chat was like, see, this is why I go to Brock TV, because he doesn't sit there and jump to conclusions. And now I'm just like, I have no idea who the hook killer is. Oh, also, somebody said that I was a Brock Jr., so let's just let that sink in.
Wait. Hold on. Keep rewinding real quick. They said the judge what?
No, because I said that Esme. I was like, I think that Esme is the killer. I feel like Esme is the killer. And somebody was like, see, this is why I go to Brock TV, because he doesn't sit there and jump to conclusions and da 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 da. And I'm just like, yeah, okay.
Jump to conclusions. Well, shit. I mean, once they said it was a damn woman, who else could you think of?
Yeah.
I mean, they said it's a woman. Hell, I jumped into conclusions. Shit. Once the hook killer started, I was naming names off. I mean, because it could have been anybody at that point. But once I heard, okay, they confirmed, okay, it's a woman. I'm like, well, Esme came to mind. I'm like, shit, she came to mind before they even said it was a woman. And then once they started saying, oh, Trina is connected to her, is connected to Sonny. Once they said Sonny, I'm starting to think of, okay, it could have been a chick from his past that he done fucked over. Because he done fucked over many. So it could be somebody from back then. But then I'm thinking, okay, so now they're saying Trina. So I'm like, okay, it got to be Esme then. Who else could it be? I mean, Trina wouldn't have beef with anybody other than her. So, I mean, it's not really jumping to conclusions. It's just who's the logical choice. Because jumping to conclusions, shit, I'd have named maybe 30 people in just that one episode when the hook killer first got there. I was like, shit, I was rattling off who it could have been. Because, I mean, when you're dealing with a serial killer, you don't know who it could be. Honestly. And she's still sitting here denying it. Talking about, oh, I didn't attack Nicholas. Well, bitch, who did? Because you was in Windermere. What other female was in there? Ava was over there drinking a martini and choking on it. So who else could it have been?
I think she did attack Nicholas, but I don't think Esme's the hook, because it's just too obvious at this point. And even Trina has once a character, because I feel like on a soap, once a character says like their theory about somebody being the killer, that's not the killer. Because once Trina said it out loud, oh, is Esme going around hooking people? I was like, yeah, so she's not the hook. If she is, then this is not a really good setup on the writer's part. If it is
exactly.
But I think who it could be since it is a woman and is a woman of a little bit of a smaller stature, I'm gonna have to say, I still go with my wild bizarre theory of Claudia Zakara, but I'm trying to go with someone on canvas that we haven't seen in a while, that has beef with Sonny, that also has somewhat of a connection through Trina, through Curtis, which would only be Miss Wu. That's the only person I can think of now at this point that would make the most logical sense of who's the hook. And I don't know if that's to put Sonny in his place, because even I'm looking at the stature of the woman that it is, and it's a little bit of a smaller stature. Ms. Wu, she's a powerful woman, but she's obviously not as tall as Carly or let's say Olivia or Holly. She's a little bit shorter than them. So this is why I think it could be Miss Wu, and it would make sense because she's teaching Sonny a lesson, and she does have a connection through to Trina through Curtis, right? So in my mind, that's the only thing I can think of, and she hasn't been on screen for weeks. So, but then again, a lot of people haven't been on screen for weeks.
Because I'm thinking about Wu, and somebody floated that around before, and they was like, "Oh, it could be Miss Wu." But I thought about it. I said, "It's a possibility," but for me, it was always a small possibility. I said because Miss Wu is more, you mobbed up. It's like I don't see mobsters running around being serial killers with a hook. I'm like, they like to handle things quite more, delicately than that. They more car bomb, sniper. They more some hitman type shit. A day in the jackal kind of person. And I just feel like if she really wanted to get at Sonny, why not go after Michael or somebody?
Right.
Why not go after him? Why not go after Dante?
Yeah,
that would make more sense to me.
And why would a mob person actually do their own dirty work too?
Yeah, see,
she doesn't seem like the type of person that would be like, yeah, I'm gonna sit there and no, she got people for that. That's what she pays people to do. Like, why would she be, it's just so crazy. It's like I have at this point I have no idea who it is.
But do the writers know who it is? That's my question. Do the writers know who it is?
I don't think they do at this moment. I think when they first started it, I don't think they did. They just said, let's do a hook, and we'll fill in the blanks as we go. I don't really think they knew in the beginning who they were going to do. I mean, I could be wrong. But I don't know. Sometimes with storylines, you just go with the flow, and you just kind of break it down in the beginning, but you ain't got the middle quite planned out. You wait until you get closer to that. They really just throw it out there and see what the other writers say. And, I'm pretty sure they have meetings about it where they're like, all right, so what you think? What you think? And of course, Frank probably come in there and be like, oh, I think that's good. Or, because I'm pretty sure Frank got some input on the story.
The only problem is with the storyline is that GH has been finishing storylines at a snail pace with so many people on cast. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, is it going to be April? Like, are we going to find out who it is by the 60th anniversary? GH or who the hook? Because this has been going so slow. And I'm just like, come on.
Well,
it's a mystery.
I feel like, honestly, if they wait till April, you might as well kill a fucking body. Because if you got a serial killer, you got to kill somebody every other week just to make that sustainable. Like, I would have to think maybe by February sweeps, maybe. But you're going to have to hook a few more motherfuckers to get that done.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's been going so long, and I know if Angela Leak is still in the chat, because I always sit there and talk about this, is that they got too many people, and this is why it's taking so long. And of course, Angela Leak is going to sit there and say something along the lines of she loves all her characters, but this is why it's been going on for so long. This is why it's like people want stuff to wrap up. People are not really invested with Austin because we see him once a month. Maybe we may see him like once a month, and so yeah, we're dealing with that.
I agree because I feel like it's gonna take a while. I mean, Jessica just said in the chat, here we go, Rory with the wig again. Let me just say this again, guys, the chat one time. This isn't Passions, right? This isn't when Vincent was wearing a wig, killing everybody over in Harmony, right? This isn't Passions, guys. Gotta keep telling y'all, this is not Passions. But I hope they figure this out soon because Days had wrapped up their whole who killed Abigail, who stabbed Sonny. They finally wrapped that up. But I'm like, this story has been going on for a long time. And it's just like, I feel like at this point, the hook is on PTO right now. They took their paid time off at work for a little bit. You know, where are they at
Exactly.
this point?
There we go, Angelique. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. It's my girl right there. Now, I think we pretty much kind of covered almost everything except for BNB because most of us didn't watch BNB. So any last words
I
you want
watched
to sit there and say?
I watched some of it.
Oh, okay.
I feel like the storylines over there, they need to get that shit together because I don't know what the fuck Brad Bell is throwing to the walls trying to see what sticks, but that shit ain't sticking. I'm tired of watching grown ass people sitting here talking about, oh great, we got our mom and dad back together. Shut the hell up. Y'all too old for that. Y'all shouldn't be worried about your parents to get back together at this big ass age. I'm just saying, like, run around like some goofy kids. Um, Liam and Hope, they need to go sit down somewhere. I'm tired of Liam. I mean, even though Liam is right about Thomas, it's just that controlling shit that he does all the time. It just brought back memories of when him and Steffi was together. That shit used to piss me off. Because I remember when Steffi was, going to become CEO of Forrester. Oh, I don't think you should do it. And shut the fuck up. Who the hell turned down a CEO position? Who doing that? Just to please you. Like, I'm going to turn down CEO to placate you? No, I don't think so. My issue with Liam, one of my issues with him is you got to dim your light just so he could shine bright. I'm not that. Like, we're not doing that.
Sounds like
No,
I'm not doing that.
no, no, hell no, no. And I feel like he does that with anybody he's with. It's like you take up issue all because you're a little insecure ass. Like, how about you get off your ass and go to work? If you go to work, what the fuck does Liam do anymore? Like, is he still at Forrester? Is he at Spencer? Where is he at these days? I don't even know, honestly. I'm being for real. I really don't know. Somebody in the comments tell me, what does Liam do? Because I don't remember. Like, I know for a time he worked at Forrester, and I know he was at Spencer. I don't know what he do now. But I got a feeling though him and Brooke might hook up at some point. I feel like it's been brewing because him and Brooke been spending a whole lot of time together, and I think it might go down. I wouldn't be surprised though. That's Brooke's MO. Like DC, I know you want her to grow up, but we're not gonna see no grown Brooke at this point. We're not gonna. She gonna be screwing another daughter man in no time. And I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to give her another child at her old age. Like at her age, all her eggs should be hard boiled and cracked at this point. I don't even know why. But with Brooke, you never know. They might try to, let's give her another child. Don't she got a child that she don't even acknowledge?
Jack Maroney.
Like where the hell he at?
That's
I literally
Taylor's son
call him the
too.
Lost Files.
That's Taylor's son too.
That's what I call
about it.
Yeah, but that's what I call him though. I literally call him the Lost Files because he's clearly the lost one. I'm like, where the hell? I know he with his father somewhere, and they ain't even never say what the fuck happened to Massimo. Like I know, Joe Mascalo passed on, but they never really killed off his B&B character though.
Right.
That's the crazy part. So they need to get that right too. Brad Bell worried about all this, love triangles when you need to wrap up some shit. B&B is just I feel like they still around because of international. They get a lot of international play. So I think that's why they still around because Lord knows with the writing that they got, you could have kept One Life to Live and just got rid of that shit. I mean, I don't advocate for nobody losing a job, but I mean, I feel like B&B is needed because of LA. The setting is beautiful, but they need to go back to the roots. Fashion shows, fashion house battles. I feel like they need to get back to their roots. Like all this love triangle shit they've been doing the last few years is tiresome. Bill need to stop chasing around Brooke and go to Lee because that's who I want him with. But if he keep chasing around Brooke, I don't want him with Lee because I don't want Lee getting played. I like Lee. I like her a lot. I feel like she, stand her ground, and I feel like her and Bill could be good together though if they show her more. If Bill stop playing these games, and what the fuck are they doing with Justin? That's what I seen him. Didn't Justin Barber pop up at the fashion show recently?
Like a split second.
See,
Yeah,
that's
he
the
did.
problem. That's the problem. You know, I was loving that storyline they gave him going up
Bill.
against Bill, and that,
Yeah, I
the
loved
way
it.
that shit ended was dreadful. That ending was so dreadful. Even the thought of it was dreadful. It was a good starter, but even when I was reviewing it at the time, my question always was, how you gonna take over a company that's private and you ain't got no stock in? How do you do that?
Wait,
Like,
don't
who's
private
voting you in
companies
as
don't have stocks because they're not publicly traded at the same time? Okay, I'm getting so technical about it. I'm getting so
it
technical
depends,
about
like,
it.
because the thing about it is, because you got, I'm gonna give you somewhat of a crash course a little bit. You got Class B shares, you got Class A shares. You know what I'm saying? So you could put those out and still hold the majority of the company, you know, the voting power and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Spencer Publications is completely just private. They don't have no stock at all out in the public.
Right. Okay.
It's just pretty much, yeah, it's just pretty much the shareholders, the board of directors at the company that make all the decisions. Like Karen, Bill, they all pretty much make the decisions. And I think Karen still owns 50% of the company. Because I know Katie owned, I think, 1%. I don't know why she still want that 1%. I would have sold that shit. I don't know what you're going to do with 1% of a company. But I'm excited, though, about Monday's episodes because I want to see what's going on GH, though, with Trina and Spencer.
Your thoughts, DC, on yeah.
All right. So my
No,
final
no,
thought.
no. Well, I'm talking about B&B.
B&B. Okay, B&B.
Because we did all the others. So
That's true.
B&B.
We did do all the others. Okay, so B&B, what I would say is that I totally agree with Brock about it showing going back to his roots. And I preached this so many times on my channel. It is because of international money we're getting certain type of storylines. I pointed this out to Albert the other day because I watch international soaps of other countries. One thing I am noticing, I don't watch really soaps from India and Asia or stuff like that, but I've seen glimpses of them. And I am starting to notice that B&B is mirroring their styles, right? Which makes sense because their prime audience, like they have lots of artists, but their prime audience is really in Dubai, the Middle East. That's their prime audience. And their show is mirroring that because I know Brad Bell said in an interview years ago that they don't do gunshots and stuff like that. They leave that to GH. He literally said in the interview, we leave that to General Hospital. We're not doing that type of stuff. That's why you don't get those kind of gory storylines or maybe a serial killer killing all the four-star models. We don't get that type of stuff from B&B. And I feel like a lot of times because B&B is trying to appeal to their international audiences. That's why we don't get. Did we lose Brock? Did we lose him?
Just for a second.
He's coming back in. All right, he's coming on in. He's coming back in. This is why I feel like a lot of times, like they're trying to appeal to international audiences. This is why we keep getting the same love triangles. This is why there's a lack of diversity in the storylines with B&B because they're trying to appeal to that, and that's their gross demographic. Because if you notice, no one's staying in the LA hotel on B&B because they got money. Every character has a house. B&B. And granted, they keep their cast so short. Because at first I thought the storylines were like that because it was half an hour. But when I was watching international soaps, my British soaps, my South African soaps, they're half an hour and they've got about the same cast as GH and Days and all those people, and they make it work. So I realized it was just a B&B thing. But for me, I miss those days. Like when Brock would even say how we got to have our have-nots, right? We got to have our real storylines. When Stephanie had the child abuse thing, or we found out when Jackie Maroney was a prostitute, and the storylines were way more balanced back then. Or when Sally Spectra, the original Sally Spectra, not the Y&R one we got, the original Sally Spectra, played by Darlene Connolly, when she would always be on her schemes to find a way to steal the Forrester fashions for her fashion shows. I miss those type of storylines for me. And Albert, I wish you were watching back then because I think you would totally see the contrast. Listen, when you get a chance, watch one of those older episodes I got on YouTube, my B&B page, because you'll see the contrast in the storylines. Or like when Taylor's father was coming to town, like we don't get that type of stuff now. It's very Disney fairy tale-ish, especially with the way they be playing that music on B&B. It's not like the way it used to be. And I mean, and people always complain about that. Soaps are not what they used to be. But Days is killing it right now. I will give it that. Days is killing it almost every area for the most part. I'll give it that. So there's one soap that's stepping up to the plate doing that. But with B&B, I think that was part of the problem. And they'll start a really good storyline, but then they'll bring it right back to Brooke and Taylor or Brooke and Ridge or something like that. So I'm not gonna go off a tangent, but that's all I got to say on that.
No. Now I guess it's different for me than the two of y'all because y'all been watching. All right, have a good night, cigars. Um, it's different because I've come to the party late, you know. But the one thing that I always sit there and say when I do my reviews is that I feel sorry for people who've been watching this for a while because you're practically getting the same recycled stories, you know, Ridge, Brooke, and Taylor, da 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 da. Da. And as far as the fashion thing is concerned, like people have been saying, well, you know, I missed the fashion shows and stuff like that. They did a fashion show, right? I was on Instagram, and of course, you know, people snitching saying, "Oh, I didn't like this, I didn't like that, I didn't like the way she was posed." I was like, "Yo, y'all getting what y'all want? Y'all people unbelievable, like for real." Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't like
very,
the way she
very
posed. I didn't
respectful.
like this, and I was just like, "What do y'all want? Like, y'all got what y'all want, you know?" Um, But I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. You got Liam that's acting like a beta. Oh, I don't want to sit there and go to your thing because I gotta celebrate. I gotta celebrate Thomas at the same time. I was like, bro, I, I, I can't. And of course, you got Hope that should have shut that whole thing down with Thomas from get go. Oh, I made the dress specifically you and mine, and the way how your body and this, that, and the third. I'm like, Hope, you need to shut this down now, like yesterday. You gonna wait till this dude is midpoint about to kiss you, and now you just like, oh, we can't do this because I'm married and I only have love for one person in my heart. I'm like, I'm literally spent reviewing these episodes. I was like, I feel so sorry for you people. I really, really do. Um, but we've actually been on for like 2 hours. Jesus Christ, and my noodles are actually still warm. But before we go,
You still talking about
DC, where can they find you?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys can find me at DC Soap Sanctuary right here on YouTube. I may come back to social media in a minute, but you guys can find me right here on YouTube with DC Soap Sanctuary. Rocky B looks like he's about to take us on the Demir jet in the video. That's it. I love it. All right, bye guys. Those cracking jokes.
Rock TV, what could they find you at?
You can find me on Instagram, Devon, DAVON _ BUCHANAN.
Yeah. And he also does reviews. I mean, at this point, I think it's kind of, well, the majority of the people that are here are also Broad TV fans. But, and with me, it's Twitter, Zero Bostic on Twitter. Yeah. And YouTube as well. So I think this is actually going to be a cut. It's going to be a wrap. But I want to thank both of y'all for jumping on. This is a hell of a lot of fun. It was really great to see everyone, see a lot of new faces. Most of them are probably blocked, but a lot of new faces and stuff like that. And even my usual regulars that come in the chat. I appreciate every single one of y'all for being here. This was a lot of fun, and I think this is going to be a wrap. So we'll see you all in the next video. Have a good night, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Peace.